Like if you're listening to this live, maybe it's just something you need to think about, okay? So on relationships, what I want to say today is that too many women don't know what they want out of the relationship. And so they end up in what today is called a situationship. Okay? Now, I don't want anyone to misunderstand what a situationship is. A situationship is not the same thing as taking a lover. You're free to take a lover. You're free to pursue your physical pleasure. Okay? But physical pleasure is never confusion. What I mean when I say situationship is a lot of women end up in these things that are confusing. There's undefined intent, undefined energy. You don't know where it's going. It's not meeting 80% of your needs, and it's like really draining your etheric system. And I really don't understand the point of why a woman would find herself in this situation, to tell you the truth. Maybe you guys can clue me in, but I don't get it. I don't understand it, right? Because it seems to me the first thing you should be working on is your relationship box. What do I want out of having a man in my life? And unless you hit every single item on that box, why are you in the situationship? You need to understand, many times people think, oh, I'm going to be in the situationship, and when I meet somebody else, I'm just going to move on. But it doesn't work like that, because a situationship and any connection with another person is an active script. Except that when you don't have intent, and when you're not the one controlling the boundaries, what happens is this active script is sort of like an unanchored timeline. Okay? It's an unanchored timeline that you're exploring. And any intentional work that you do on the side, like let's say at the side of your situationship, you go home and you're envisioning being married and having a husband one day and kids, that can't actualize because you're giving mixed signals in terms of your energetic system. You're saying by your acceptance of being with someone that way, that's giving instructions into the universe. I wish it didn't mean that, but that's what it means. And I want you guys to understand. So my relationship thought of the day is the feminine has to define the relationship interaction. And the masculine responds to that, right? So the masculine could respond by, I'm not interested. Okay, he's just falling away, and that's fine. Or he could respond by meeting your needs. There's only those two options that you should accept in your life. And if you're doing anything else, I would say that's a waste of your feminine energy. It's a drain on your energetic system. Don't forget that, like I told you, anyone you have physical contact with that way, sexual contact, anyone like that will be processed through your energy system. So think about what's in it for you when you fall into the situationships. Which are the two options? I'm not really sure. What do you mean? Okay, I want to take your questions, but I'm not really sure if you're saying my live doesn't connect or what's happening. Anyways, all of my lives are posted on my YouTube channel. But my relationship thought of the day is that you really have to think seriously before getting into any situationships. And situationships are not good for the woman, especially when she's trying to have a certain focus in her life, in all areas of life. So be just very wary of that. Be very intentional. Oh, the choices that I said, so the woman defines the boundary, the man has two choices, either meet the boundary or fall away. But the problem is, fall away from her life. But the problem is, when you don't have boundaries, when you don't know what you want out of the relationship, then this sort of what is called today situationships develop. And that situationship is just you giving energy away on an unactualized timeline that's still an active script that will just waste and drain your energy. I would say if you're working with me, if you're doing this type of work, do not be in those kind of situations. There's no benefit to you in being in that. I'm saying that because somebody has asked me if I can talk more on relationships. Oh, my sweater is so cool. Yeah, isn't it? It's like it's a beagle, And then you can't see this, but the rest of his body wraps on the other side, on the back. It's so cute. I just got it also. It's from a store called Anthropology here in Canada. Okay, now I want to talk about a video I've done on the inner world. And I told you, I've done it, I think yesterday or the day before. And this idea that came to me, because we're doing so much dream work with my group, especially if you're doing the 60-day challenge. Okay, I told you guys, there's physical actions you can take to dream more. Then recording the dreams that you have if you wake up during the night, or if you wake up just in the morning, should be your top priority for you to understand your dream world. Why? So by now, everybody who's listening to this content is already of the mind that it's the inner world that creates the outer world. But the problem with the inner world is that nobody told us that it's like a muscle that we need to develop. We need to develop the inner world with our dream life, with our clear intention, with whatever good feeling that we have. And if we don't do that purposely, what the inner world will be populated with is whatever it absorbs from the outer world. So the inner world will be programmed anyways, because it has to. And the inner world will be programmed either by the outer world, by what you observe, or by you. Or who knows, if you have a person around you who's a narcissist or some overwhelming parents, it will be programmed by those people in you. And the way to know what's in your inner world is to watch your dreams. Of course, it's also, you can also understand what's in it by watching your thoughts, understanding your loops, etc. But the easiest way for most people is to watch your dreams. Why? Because in the dreams, you will see if you are actually connecting with symbols and guides that have to do with your intention, or if in your inner world is just fragments of 3D reality. So if you go to sleep at night and all you dream about is fragments of your argument with your boss, fears that your husband, boyfriend's cheating on you, and that kind of theme, things that you saw in the news, the political debates. If all you dream about is fragments of your life, that's just memory debris in your inner world. Then your inner world is not populated with anything that could create a different life. Right? You can't create anything new if what's inside is just fragments of what's outside. And you won't understand what's inside until you pay very close attention to it. Somebody says, am I too late to join the 60-day challenge? I bought it a month ago, but had some things happen. Well, we already started on October 1st, but you're definitely able to start on your own. So it doesn't necessarily mean you have to start the same day with us. We created like the energetic thread with us, and especially with everybody doing the challenge, is just something too complex to explain here, but you will definitely get the benefit. Just go ahead and do it. It's just with the group we started October 1st. And just let me know, intend to send me a success story. Just say, I'm going to have a success story for Mona, day 10, by day 20. Pay attention to my other lives, because I said this round of the 60-day challenge will have its specific theme for you. Let's see. What if your dreams are neutral, random, or you don't remember it? You have to do everything, Salom, to remember your dreams. Remember what we talked about, not eating before sleep, like 3 to 4 hours. Maybe for you, it needs to be like 5 hours if you really never remember it. No alcohol. See if you can take your prescription medication at a different time than before sleep. Because all of these physical things affect the quality of our sleep and sort of what's going on. In the dream world, our ability to connect with our subconscious, etc. So what I want you to do is do all the physical things you can to remember the dreams, including meditation, everything we talked about. There's some binaural beats I recommended in the group that you can do in order to calm your mind and get into that state before bed. But if what you do is you're eating, you're drinking, then you're going to bed within 2 hours, and then while you're in bed, you're scrolling on the phone, your dreams are not going to be meaningful. You're not populating your inner world. You can't just do one journal entry and expect your life to change. So I think, like, you know, when I show up here, it's for people be like, tell me what to do. I'm ready to do everything in order to make this happen. So the physical changes that you make, everything you do in 3D matters, right? Because everything you do in 3D is an instruction of what you're prepared to do. There's work to do in your physical reality. There's work to do in your inner world. But all of this is with the idea that you want to do life differently than you would do it just by following collective consciousness. It's easier to follow collective consciousness, guys. That's the easy default thing. You go to school when they tell you, you graduate when they tell you, you apply for the programs in university that would graduate making the most amount of money. You go to a work you hate, a 9 to 5. They let you go after a few years. You go to another one. You date 200 people. You realize the dating market isn't worth it. You're better off on your own. These are the messages that I see these days. You know, you can't buy a house anyways. You might as well not even try. So going with the default collective consciousness in what you watch, what you consume, and what you believe and what you program in your inner world is the easiest thing to do. Doing the work this other way is harder, but it will produce different results. So a lot of people turn to this mindset manifestation and be like, oh, if I just change my mind that I'm rich, and if I just affirm 200 times, then this is all I'm required to do. And, you know, I guess that sells more programs and more courses and more, but I can't do it. I can't come in here and tell you that that's all it takes. I can't. Like, I'm sorry if I'm discouraging, but that's not my intention. My intention is for you to understand you got to show up for yourself every single day. And I'll be here for you as long as I can in this life, once a week, to just guide everybody and talk about the themes that are occurring. Okay, I wanna finish up here on the inner world, because in my video I said, let's talk about it during this live, and I want to give you some practical tips on how to program your inner world, okay? And if you identified in dreams that you're not there yet, and none of us is there yet 100%. But if you identify that, here's what I want you to do. I wrote down like 5 pointers for you. One is design an inner home that you live in for your inner self. Now, this can be an actual home, like from a magazine or from a fantasy that you have for a home, or it can be like a fantasy home, you know, like a home from a storybook where you feel really safe. A home that can't exist in real life. Something complex, something sweet, something you read in a storybook. I used to have one of these homes in my mind when I was younger, but actually I was a young adult. I wasn't like 5 years old, because I found that going back to this home always made me feel very safe in my mind. So your inner self has to have a home that you assign to your inner self, that when you close your eyes right before sleep or throughout the day, you can go to your inner home. You have an outer home wherever you live right now, but you have to somehow convince your inner home that your inner home is different. And give yourself whatever inner home you want to have. Again, real home or fantasy home. Are you guys with me on that? You need to spend time and do work to create this. Actually, once, even like I took a sketchbook, and I sketched the home the way it looks until it became coherent. Because, you know, when you start to think, oh, this room, and then when you put it together, it doesn't make sense. So you need to take the time to design this home for your inner self. So that's one. Okay. The second tip that I can give you is interrupt your autopilot recall. Okay. Those are thoughts that are playing in your mind on autopilot. This is work that I still do on a daily basis. You have a thought. You just decided right now to clear your mind. You just decided right now to just admire nature. Maybe you're out on a walk. All these thoughts pop in your head and distract your attention from what you decided to do. So one tip for that is out loud, you say, no, I'm not thinking about this. This is my autopilot. I'm not interested in this right now. You're not running on your own. I'm running you. Mind, I'm in control. Who is me? Me, the observer, me, the spirit. We talked about this. I am in control of my mind. Now, my mind has maybe been run on autopilot and on collective consciousness pilot for a really long time. But when I say no, I am the one in control because I'm the one who has a mind. The mind is not me, right? That's why I can program my mind. And a quick way to do this is say no and then shift your focus when you have this autopilot thoughts. Shift your focus to sort of a future event that's a guaranteed for sure. So let's say I'm driving and I decide to clear my mind and these thoughts come in my mind, either a repeating conversation or something like this. And I say no. And right now I'm going in my mind to whatever I'm driving to. Let's say I'm just driving to the grocery store and I'm seeing myself in my current clothes walking through the grocery store for a few seconds. Why? Because that stops the autopilot in my mind and it makes me focus on something that I want to happen. I already intending to go into the grocery store versus something that has already happened. You see, our mind is often hijacked by our past, nonstop. And we want to say no. I'm going to think of what I want to bring forth. And one way to redirect quickly is to think of an element that's going to come through immediately in that day. That's maybe neutral. Okay, number 3, you have to do some emotional training. And there's a study that I read, or a video that I watched on a study, that said most people only have access to 3 to 4 main emotions. And you have to do the work with yourself for a week to sort of observe what your 3 main emotions are. Or do it for the day. Do it for today and tomorrow. What are your 3 main emotions? They could be fear. They could be disappointment. They could be shame, guilt. They could be negative. They could be anticipation. They could be joy. They could be happiness. You just have to observe what are your 3 main emotions. One very common emotion right now is worry. People are in a constant state of worry. Worry creates anxiety. Anxiety is a result of worrying. So if you find yourself in that state, the main emotion is worry, which comes from fear. You guys know that the derivative of every emotion, they say, it's just the 2 main emotions, love and fear. And everything else is just the derivative of those 2. But anyways, you have to find your 3 to 4 states. And then you really have to, we'll do this in the booklet, the exercise booklet that I'm going to create for next year. And because I want to have something to do every single day, just a redirection of the mind. But basically, what is my theme today? And I'm deciding to reverse it or change it or be in charge, take control of my mind and change my emotions. So this is emotional training. How can I get in a state of joy right now? Let me just see here, because I have a few comments, it seems. So I just want to make sure it's not just a monologue and I'm interacting. Can being with a low frequency partner block my abundance when I'm into one frequency? 100%. I've said this before. 100%. Yes, the contents of this home are my old mind. That's what I want now. Okay. In a world dreams. Okay. So I wanted to see if there's anything pertinent to this. So emotional training. And then another one I want to give you is you have to build in your mind the archetypes, not the people. So the archetypes of sort of the people that would best support your life going forward. Many times we focus on certain people who are in our lives, let's say your existing husband or the man you want to be interested in you, or the mom that you have with her flaws and imperfections. A lot of women have very complicated relationships with their mothers. So instead of these people populating your mind, I want you to move to an archetype of these people, the archetype that is perfect for you. So let's say it doesn't matter how you grew up, but the archetype in your mind, in your inner world and your inner home is this 2 loving parents that have raised you. And you can build this. I know it's a really hard mental exercise, but you can actually create a different story for yourself without using the characters from your existing stories, just using archetypes, right? Basically ask yourself, once you build these people in your mind, when you're going through something, Ask yourself, what would my mom and dad say right now? What mom and dad? The mom and dad who are the archetypes in your mind versus the mom and dad that you had. What would my husband, you're single, what would my husband, like, I'm going through this thing at work. If I were to call my husband right now, thank you. If I were to call my husband right now, what would he say to me? And in your mind, even though you're single, you've gone on a few bad dates this week, last month, in your mind, what you'll create is this archetype of this supportive husband that you can call and be like, I'm ready to quit this job, or, I really need a massage when I get home. And just call him in your mind. They tell you got to be delusional. I know it sounds like, but people need actual tools on how to be delusional and how to practically rewire their mind. This is all science at this point, which I'm so glad, because if anybody was talking about this like 10 years ago or 20 years ago, they would see as being cuckoo. But this is all has to do with the fact that they found out that the brain is so plastic in terms of how it can rewire itself. But you're the one who has to do the work. So I'm giving you pointers on how to do it. I just want to make sure you guys, hopefully that was helpful. So the inner world is something that you have to build. Probably the inner world that most people have right now is not beneficial for them, or it doesn't even exist. The inner world, again, if it's just fragments of your whatever happens in your outer world, that's not even an inner world. So, all right, I want to go to, I read out either testimonials or questions from that I receive from my group that I find is of benefit to everybody to kind of know and to kind of think about. And we had this testimonial I really liked from this queen. And she's saying, I wanted to share how much this group has changed my life. For about 10 years, I've been into manifestations, books, videos, big creators, small creators, yet it all felt chaotic and random. I could manifest individual things like a dream job, specific trips, but I didn't fully understand how to make results consistent. Then I found Mona's video on TikTok. No exaggeration. I instantly felt this is the person. I listened to a few videos, joined the group, and got to work. At first it was rough. The small manifestation like a key, a flamingo, just didn't land. Still, I kept going day by day. The challenge, the vision board, dream work was the hardest. Finishing the 60-day challenge was also tough because trips always popped near right at the end. Very soon after I started the challenge, I met my now husband, and the way we met is a story in itself. I went to an event I had no desire to attend. I only felt a strong nudge that I should go. Our relationship moved fast, and he even started repeating my affirmations word for word. Working with Mona's materials made me genuinely brighter, calmer, and more patient. It's hard to throw me off balance now. I learned to set clear boundaries and say what I think, even if someone might not get it. I became truly assertive and realized I have every right to voice my needs and beliefs. Over the last 2+ years, I've visited many places from my vision board, received beautiful and expensive gifts, and things that once felt too luxurious are now part of my everyday life. I still haven't cracked manifesting specific large amount of money, but specific situations and experiences flow to me with ease. I am happily addicted to Mona's content in the best way. Since finding the TikTok channel and the recorded lives on YouTube, I listen practically every day. I revisit the archives and walks when I'm at the gym. What I'm sure of this is the knowledge here combined with consistent practice and actually applying what Mona teaches has to bring success sooner or later. Even though I've been quiet, this has been the most productive time I've ever had working on myself. And trust me, I spent around 8 years before this trying to understand and implement all of this from all sources. Here, I finally found clarity, tools, and real results. You know what's most interesting? For quite some time now, affirming for the group has brought me much more joy than affirming for just myself. I am deeply grateful. I just love the way she wrote this. I know like a lot of it is about me and it sounds like it's me about me, but it's such like, if you understand the type of work it is, it's such a profound testimonial, because what she's saying is, she found finally a sort of a space to put it all together. And she understands that it's hard to produce A, B, C, and D. But the results are really this changes that she made in her behavior. And I'm telling you, like, she met her now husband, okay? she's saying half of this testimonial is how she reacts differently to circumstances and enforcing her boundaries. And that's why I think I need to talk more about relationships and boundaries. And this has to do with all your relationships, okay? With your boss, with your best friend, with your mom, with obviously with the men you date. But really, if you say yes when you want to say no, when you don't open your mouth to say something, every time you do this, you violate your energetic boundaries. And you can affirm 100 times for something and not get it only because you're violating the boundaries of within your relationships. And I want everybody to know that. Many times you don't get what you want and you're like, why did this person get it and not me? Whatever is unexpressed within you, whatever you went against that you knew you should have done it your way, all of these things have hurt your energy system and continue to do that because you're continuing to enforce it. So I started with relationships and not finding yourself in situationships and not giving anything that of yourself that isn't earned. Guys, please don't call me. I don't take calls during my live. So thank you to this queen and many blessings on her marriage. We actually had 5 engagements this year in my group. Guys, please don't call me. Let's see. Is there any questions around that? Okay, now I want to take up some little things. We have an accountability pin and people put in there, sort of how their day went because we have the 60-day challenge, yeah? So let me just see where we're at here. Okay, somebody says, day 6, I felt the urge to clear out the spaces and reduce my responsibilities for quite some time. Way before starting this challenge, I have decluttered and let go of both physically and mentally, but I feel there's still a lot more that needs to be cleared out, especially mentally. When I did the if else statement exercise, nothing came up, nothing for days. I knew there's stuff living in there that needs to be brought to daylight, but for some reason, it didn't want to be revealed itself to me. How many people felt this? I felt this. I felt I was looking for something in my mind and my mind refused to open up and give it to me. The ego is so good at maintaining its own program. So I decided to give a command, she says, to my subconscious mind before going to sleep to show me what I needed to let go of mentally. I haven't had any dreams, but the answers start coming in during the day as floodgates had begun to open. I've been taking notes of them as soon as they pop up and later dedicated time for them, written them out on paper, reversed them, and then burned them. Every day has been a burning ritual and I love it. This is how much work you need to put into this. You need to overcome your mind. And I really like it. It's really beautiful. It's really a testament of, I'm going to do me. I'm going to do me in a way of nothing that I don't want in there will occupy space in there. I'm the one who's in control. Guys, start with a physical clearing. So if you give away things from your home and from your closet, don't be afraid to give away things. A lot of the things in your life right now have stagnant energy. So I just want to make sure. Somebody says, how to get my wife back. Red Fox, what happened? This is a live for women, so maybe we can offer a different perspective, Maybe we can help you. Okay, somebody else says, day 7, my body affirmation for day 6 was, my smile lights up a room, and today I get a notification. And notification says, it's an AI generated notification. Smiles that light up the room. Check out this memory from 2023. So listen, I'm also a literal manifester. If you're a literal manifester and in general, do not make affirmations that are abstract. Actually, nobody should make affirmations that are abstract. My smile lights up the room doesn't mean anything in 3D, right? When I smile, it's not like a ray of light lights up a room. So don't make anything poetic. Don't do anything, don't think allegorically. Just really be very, very specific. For example, when I walk by people, what she means, my smile, I'm assuming. When I walk by people, they turn their head. I turn heads. Okay? That's something that can happen in the physical world. People smile at me first, you can say. Everyone acknowledges me. I am the focal point when I enter any room. Those are affirmations you can replace something like this with. Don't go poetic, okay? Somebody says, day 7 and 8. Needed to move a tub of topsoil that was far too heavy for me. Two guys were walking past right at the exact moment I was thinking, how am I going to do this? I asked them for help and got it where I wanted in 30 seconds. Been feeling a pull to change my routine, including no longer attend a yoga studio I've been going for 4 years. Seems silly, but it feels like a big change for me. And I told the screen that I'm going to talk about this. Okay, so number one, the thing, when you don't know how to do something is the best time to let the universe take care of it, right? It's better not to, we as women tend to plan too much. It's not in our structure to plan that much. That is like going in the masculine way of thinking. The feminine energy is sustained by the universe arranging itself to meet your needs. I've had so many of these occurrences where when I didn't think of a solution, it just kind of took care of itself. Do you guys know what I'm saying? Like the whole thing took care of itself, as opposed to me thinking, how am I going to get it? Like the solution came to me. It's very hard to think of exact examples, but hand on my heart, I have hundreds of such occurrences. And I want you guys to understand that the more you let go of the how, the more the how will take care of itself if you do everything else, right? Like not just if you continue to live your life in 3D and not worry about your mind and not control your emotions or reactions. No, not like that. Okay, now she's saying also that all of a sudden she had the urge to change a yoga studio that she's been to for 4 years. I know the exact urge, coincidentally, with the yoga studio that I was going for many years. And, because of my manifestation of completely having a better house and everything, when I moved home, so I left that studio behind. I just told them, I'm not going to drive 30 minutes and I'll find something closer to my new home. So that's another problem that took care of itself. But to tell you the truth, in parallel with me manifesting a new home in my head, I had this feeling that I didn't want to go to the studio anymore. And I had the same thing. I was like, I'm going here for a long time and what have you. So what I want you to pay attention to is when an existing structure doesn't feel right anymore, is it because of a different manifestation that's trying to come through, of a different completion? Like say, for example, it doesn't feel right to go out with your girlfriends to the same bar that you've gone out every couple of weeks for the last 3 years. Is that because you're manifesting a different type of life, like where you're married and have kids and what have you, and that life is trying to actualize its script? So everything that is not that is beginning to feel unaligned. So watch for that. But never ignore a nudge like this, because the best thing is when things that you've always done a certain way start feeling unnatural to the person that you are. That means the person that you are has changed. That means the energy that you need around you right now is not that. Is not that you needed 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Makes sense, right? As you go through life, you should have your energy system should constantly improve if you keep doing work on yourself. And so you automatically have to become better places, have to attract better places, better people, better circumstances. Now, yoga studio is like, in my opinion, this kind of places where you practice something like this is sort of not very different than a place of worship. People go in there and dump. They energetically go in there and dump. People see their yoga class as somewhere you come and you dump the energy of the day that you don't want to have. And if you're an empath or if you're a person that picks up on other people's energy, sometimes an interaction in this type of studio can leave you drained or can leave you like your inner being knows they don't want to be there anymore. It could be just one person who's like a really good dumper. And you're picking that up. And you don't know what's wrong with you, why you don't want to be there anymore. Maybe it's the same person who's been in your class for the last 4 years. So I want you to understand all of this stuff matters. The intention that the people around you have matters. So if you are in a place where people come to feel better and to release and to dump, make sure you're not the one picking up. You're saying that's why you can go to the gym. Yeah, you sense that, right? You feel what I'm talking. People go there to release testosterone, release their frustration. They're punching bags. Krista says, I want to manifest a free trip to Mexico for 15 days in November. The thing is, this already contains the how. So I'm not sure it's a good manifestation. If you want to manifest that you go to Mexico for 15 days, that's where you should keep your mind. Who knows who's going to pay for it? Maybe you're going to come into a significant amount of money and pay for it. The moment you say, I want to manifest a free trip to Mexico, you're in lack. You're in lack. I don't have. The only way for me to go to Mexico is if I get a free trip. You're already lacking, okay? Let's see. I work with patients with problems and I'm an empath. Got really bad neck issues this week. I know, I'm going to tell you, I don't want to scare you guys, but I had a neighbor who did social work and her health deteriorated so much before the time she was 36, 37 when I knew her, that it was incredible. She got every sort of autoimmune disease and she was just like a regular person. I lived in that neighborhood for 9 years and I saw her slow decline out of nothing. She didn't have cancer or anything. But she was always saying how much and how sad she was for all these people and the whole day. And one time I was like, well, maybe just it's not a job would be suitable for you. She's like, I have my pension here and it's a good government job and what have you. But she loathed it. And it's real. This thing that sticks with you, I really think only certain types of people can do that kind of work, to work with people who have very, very heavy energy. And it's not for everybody. Let's see. Okay, I want to go to the next one. I want to cover. If you guys have any questions or comments on this, let me know, or a question for me. Then I want to, okay. Somebody says, I wanted to leave a question I had. In regards to focus and money, should we have intention on where the money comes from? I understand focusing on the result and letting go of the how, but we all have systems where money comes. And I'm wondering if I haven't been placing intention enough on money coming from a particular source, like a business or stock portfolio, whatever it may be. And somebody answered her, I'm sure Mona's stance on this is that you should never think about where money comes from, that doing something you love every day and money abundance should be considered separately. And then she says, I guess I don't understand, because when someone goes to school to become a nurse, they have an understanding that their income will come from nursing, which is the path they are taking. And I'm using this as an example. Okay. So I did a video a very long time ago, I want to say 2 years ago, on this exact thing and how our identity, which is what manifests, we tie our identity, collective consciousness tells us to tie our identity to what we do for a living. That's why people ask you, what do you do for a living? And I'm a nurse. They associate your identity with what you do for a living. But many times what you do for a living has nothing to do with you, with who you are, with the spirit that you are. I really believe that the only path to do it through this work is to relax into who you are and do what you love, and focus on the money thing via the lifestyle that you're creating in your inner world. And it will all come. Now, the fact that you trained to be a nurse because you knew nursing pays good at the time when you trained is different than if you went into nursing because you really like to take care of people who have physical injuries. Now, there's very few nurses who actually are inclined to nursing. You know, it's not like back in the day, I'm talking, 1920s, 30s, 40s, during World War I and World War II, where there was this women who actually meant to go there, usually mothers of soldiers themselves. They went in there with like their hearts to be a nurse and to take care of these dying soldiers or to help them out. People nowadays don't go into medicine, not even doctors, because they want to help people. They go because they have the intellectual capacity to do it. They eventually do it very businesslike. They're able to completely detach, the majority of them I'm talking over 90%. And then they go home. Now, if you've tied your identity, I'm a computer programmer, I'm a nurse, I'm a lawyer, etc., then you're right. You're only going to earn the money that is allowed by your identity, which you have made your profession. Right? Your identity has become that of your profession. And in fact, when people ask you what you do, you say what you do. I'm a nurse. But you're not a nurse. You just work as a nurse. You have to find a definition for the I am. Because you're right. What follows the I am follows you. I am a nurse means there's a range to be paid as a nurse. And that's what I'm associating with it, because that's what I'm, sort of doing. Now, there's a very interesting story on this about a woman who was sort of abandoned by her husband, and she was left with a small child, and she had no money. And she just focused her mind into this. You can Google this. She just focused her mind onto, no, this is not going to be my future. I'm not going to be that single mom who falls apart. I'm going to provide a good future for my daughter. I'm going to put her in private school, like whatever she thought about, okay? Then what happened to her is she went in 3D to be like, what can I do to earn some money? That's different than I am, right? She already decided what she was. She was going to be a winner. So she trained as a massage therapist, and she started to work for this small company, massaging programmers. And this was in the, I want to say late 90s, okay? Turns out this company was the original 60 people who started Google. And she got shares of Google as a result of her going there massaging programmers. Like, she was working full time, basically giving them the shoulder massages and techniques, so that they can be at the computer for a long time. And I find this story absolutely fascinating, because when Google went big, she was one of the employees, and she was granted, I don't know if she sold her shares or she borrowed against her shares, but basically she became a multimillionaire overnight. And this is like clear case of you not thinking, I'm a massage therapist and I'm going to earn, $60 an hour, $80 an hour. This is like a clear example of how you decide first, I'm not going to be a victim of my husband leaving me. I'm going to, no matter what, I'm going to do this X, Y, Z house, put my daughter in private school, and that's what I'm going to do. And then you sort of look around 3D and be like, but what can I do right now? Where am I? What's my prompt right now? Okay, I still go to work. I still do this. Let me look around, see if there's something else. Talk to people. Talk to people all the time. Okay, don't tell them I'm manifesting or the inner workings of your heart. But talk to people. Be kind to people. How can I help you? Smile at people in the grocery store. Be kind to others. Show life that you want to live more. That's the idea. Somebody says, I would like property without working hard. I keep going back to how, example, the lotto, income, how to affirm. I think it all goes back to, why do you want property? You already know, as long as you go back to the how, you already lost. As long as you go back to lotto, you already think, you basically think you're not worthy of it, right? Because unless a lotto win happens, you have no worth in earning the money that you have for the property. That's really what you're saying in the universe, right? And when you're saying you don't want to work hard, you don't understand that this work that you have to do is actually harder than going to a 9 to 5 and tuning out. It's harder, I think. So I want you to think about these words and think about, okay, my business was my security and I built a new business but couldn't go all in. I was afraid. And now my main business is gone. I'm sorry. Not sure what you want me to say to that. I'm sorry, that happens. Don't leave anything unless you're all in. This is true. They tell you, don't quit your job unless you're... See, many people, they want to have a business and they think, I'm going to quit my 9 to 5 or my boss is a dick and I'm going to get my business and work 4 hours a day and make more money than I did before. That's not how it works. Anyone who's a business owner understands this. Anyone, okay? In fact, the monks that go to Tibet to just spend their lives there, they understand they have to sit in meditation for 8 to 16 hours a day. Okay? That is work. That is very difficult to do. And this idea of not going all in is like, then you might as well stay in collective consciousness. That's what you have to do. That's sort of, you're right. And good thing you identified it. You're all afraid. You're right. Don't go in afraid and be like, I know this is really what I want to do. And I'm willing to give it 200% more work than I did before. Because I know that more work, let's say I like to paint. I could paint for 12 hours a day. When you're a painter inside, you could paint for 12 hours a day and not feel as heavy as your 9-to-5 job. Right? I want to manifest a man who spoils me. I choose an item I want and imagine getting it as a gift. Okay? And have you been successful in doing that? Who are you? That's the question you want to ask yourself there. Okay? The name is G, just the initial, who I'm talking to. Like, who are you to you in your mind? And make sure when you want to manifest a man who gives you gifts and spoils you, what does that mean? What does it mean specifically? Because that has different meaning to different people, right? Even a woman who's a top CEO wants to manifest a man who spoils her. She wants to manifest a man who wakes her up with kisses, opens the car door, and waits for her with her bath drawn in the evening if he finished earlier than her. And to her, this is what it would mean being spoiled. To you, what are you saying? Imagine something and getting something as a gift. Isn't it easier for you to have money to buy it yourself? Is it important for you that your gift comes from a man? What does it mean, a man spoiling you? To you personally. Right? How has your relationship with men been so far? Are you enforcing your boundaries? When you go out there and you date on the dating market, is it my list of boundaries and nothing else? Or do you end up in situationships? I started this live talking about situationships, right? Are you ever in the circumstance where you don't know where the relationship is going, but you are giving that man everything, including your body? Because if you are, you're already in violation of the you that's inside. If what you want is a protector, provider, prioritizer, you have to enforce your boundaries. But anyways, this kind of relationship questions, they really have to do a lot with, like, it's very personal. For each person understands things differently. How do you find the courage to believe in the invisible? In what's still becoming? That's a real question. Why do you need courage to believe in the invisible? I think when you, why is it that you believe in the visible? See, this is the question, okay? Because you believe in things that you don't even understand. You think you don't even understand why you believe in them. So if you were to sort of dissect your mind and understand that you believe in many things that hasn't been tested for you. So for example, I'm here. I don't feel a spin and I don't see a curvature. I have no reason to believe that the earth is round and spinning, except for what other people told me. I haven't seen earth from space. So from my inner being, I just made a decision to believe. I believe the earth is round and spinning and all that, and our galaxy is the way it's presented. But this is not because it's also like believing the invisible. You understand? It's just a choice that I decided to believe that. If I'm really to think about what I believe. If I think about what I'm thinking, like, money doesn't grow on trees. Damn it. For some people, it really seems to. Okay? Like, so many people got rich in the last 20 years on the internet, on crypto, and everything. But I somehow still think that money doesn't grow on trees. And it requires a lot of work in 3D or a lot of inner work or what have you. It's just a choice. I'm still believing in something. So really, what you have to decide, what you have to understand is that what you believe right now, what you believe in, it's just a program that you have. And you're just subtracting from the program and adding to the program. Okay? You're saying money is cotton and flax and does grow from the earth. Yeah. You know what? Right now, money isn't even real anymore. It used to be gold, right? It used to be something. You either had the gold or you didn't. Then it was paper. They could print more of it. It became less real because they could just print more of it. Now it's not even paper. Now it's just numbers in the computer. You know what I mean? Like now it should be easier than, which is proof by the fact that so many new millionaires, so many people who make easy money these days is because money is no longer gold. If it was gold, it wouldn't be so easy because that's a physical thing you got to obtain. Now it's easy, right? Let's see what else we have. Oh, somebody says, when I listen to my usual music, I started feeling uneasy about it. So I tried for a long time to find music that felt good to my ears, but I didn't find anything. So I took the decision to just stop listening to music for a while, and it's been feeling like the right choice for now. I feel attachment to certain photos still being in my photo album when it no longer benefits me to have them. And I'm doing another clean out. It actually feels heavy removing photos of myself from a past time. Almost like a part of myself feels like it's being erased. But I try to do it gently and acknowledge how the past has brought me here and it has already served its purpose. Whenever I feel like I removed enough, I realize how much I'm actually holding on to. Perhaps I didn't understand the magnitude of change that would be taking place. I can hear certain things and try to grasp them in theory, but when I live it, it's completely different. This is very deep also. Guys, you will find that you won't be able to listen to the music that you used to listen to watch TV the way you used to watch it if you fall in this kind of energy, especially like with the group work that we're doing right now. These are all good things as you're changing, right? If you wanted to do things the same as yesterday, the same as last year, and that's your measurement of growth in life. If you're the same as last year, it's now October. If you're the same as last October, listen to the same music, have the same political dialogue, do the exact same thing, talk same gossip with your friends, you haven't grown at all. When you've grown, and especially if you catch sort of like a spark of energetic material to push you forward, you'll notice right away things that used to be a staple in your life are no longer a staple. Music is one of them. TV is one of them. What other people say to you and how they do things is one of them. This thing with deleting old photos, I know exactly what she means, and I think we all do. You cannot keep too many. Like we take way too many photos nowadays, right? Before we used to have photos with our ex, they were actual photos. And, you know, like let's say from when you were 15, you know, if you're around my age, and what you did with that photo is you burned it. Now it's all digital. Right now you can't, like, now you actually have to delete it and you can get it back. You can change your mind. You can go back and forth, all of that. But I would suggest the more you get rid of, and we really underestimate the effect the past has on us and the hold the past has on us. We underestimate. At every point in time, remind yourself that the past wants you to have more of your past. And if you want to have something that's completely different than what you had before, you have to stab this past. Like it's that extreme of a decision. Okay? Really, like, I don't know. So for example, my husband was cleaning his car. And there was like a box of some of the things I put in there from an old car. Come on 1 second, because I have to match something here to let me continue. And, you know, I found like some scarf, some book, some this. I just opened a bag. He left it on my desk in the house. And I was like, I don't need any of this stuff. I haven't thought of it. It must have been in his car for like a year and a half. I haven't thought about these things. I haven't missed any of these things. I just tossed it. You know, it doesn't matter. That is not stuff you're going to revisit. Don't make room for the stuff from your past that no longer helps you grow. So I think for the screen who left this testimonial, you're on a great path right now, and I love it. I'll read maybe one more. Somebody says, I can feel the things are settling to the background, yet still so much continue to surface. I can't wear my old clothes. I can't use my old perfume. Nothing resonates with who I am right now. Actually, I didn't know, but this is kind of the same theme as the one before. I can't even open my mouth because I don't like anything that comes out of it. My mouth feels like an energy leak. And right now I need to conserve my energy for creation. Oh my God, I love this. I just love the way she put it. Since I haven't been shown how this new version of me expresses herself in the world, I feel the need to retreat back into my inner cage sanctuary, inspired by the exercise from Mona's video where she mentioned the book Gnosis the Way, and incubate in isolation until the baby egg that I am grown, that I am grows a shell strong enough to face the 3D punches. Beautifully said, beautifully said. But if you find this, just know it's totally normal. The old clothes, the old perfume. Me, when I find that I'm avoiding something in my closet, if I've avoided it 3-4 times, it's gone. It doesn't matter that it's expensive. It doesn't matter any of these things. Okay. And then this other thing, not reacting to 3D while you're growing your new inner self, is so real. Right? Because if you're going with this baby vulnerability and with an unstabilized, untested, like let's say my boundaries, but I put myself in situations where those boundaries will be violated and tested. Let's say I don't want to do gossip, but I'm going to the same events and the same get-togethers where I know there will be gossip. That will destroy the egg that you're growing inside. Do you believe in manifesting SP? In a different way than it's presented in this type of work. And I have a list. I have a playlist. It's called Manifesting SP. So you can peruse it and see if there's anything useful there for you. I'm wondering if I have time for one more. Oh, somebody says, I forgot to save my updates in the Excel and lost everything on day 8. I'm happy it's still early in the challenge. My dreams have been very vivid and I do remember them. And I'm excited to remake my vision board, honestly. I thought at this point in the challenge, I might be seeing results like maybe a free house, lol. But so far, I can say the major result I'm experiencing is a massive ego death. I am and have been so uncomfortable this past few days. I've been avoiding falling into my old thought spiral traps and practicing the embodiment of a new way of being. Like Mona said in her last live, I'm being tested in areas that are seemingly totally unrelated to my manifestation. But I know my subconscious is bringing blocks to the surface to be cleared. I definitely feel the challenge working. Guys, this challenge will work 100%. It just will catch you at the exact point that you need to be. So for example, if you're ready for that new house, you'll get it right away. If you need a massive ego death before you get it, because your current ego cannot live in that house, then you'll get the ego death first, but it will meet you where you are. So I think like stop looking for shortcut solutions. Stick with just my free videos, okay? Just stick with this and do every exercise that I put out. Think about things, make it your priority to get to know yourself first. Remember the inner world, you need to know what's in there. And you got to understand that until you program it, nothing different is going to come to the surface. Except that. I think I invited somebody by mistake, so please don't accept my invitation. I don't know. Somebody says, can I ask you? What's STG? I don't know. Can I ask you something? All right. I am live every Monday, 12 to 1 Eastern Standard Time. Is now 1 o'clock. Hopefully, if you found value in this, all my lives are posted on my YouTube channel, so which is linked in my bio. If you want to stay for the 369 tab, I am a winner. Put your hands together now. This will take about 30 seconds, and that's the end of the live. One breath in. I am a winner. 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 I am a winner.